I just ordered another 2 terabyte storage drive for all these sessions.
Nice.
It's filling up all the storage I can get.
Oh man, I forgot my. Hold on, my steering is set on the super heavy.
That's okay. Yeah, mine was as well. That was really funny.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know what I was driving before, but it was really heavy for me.
Uh oh yeah. So last weekend when we are talking about so we were supposed to do something on Monday,
Yeah.
and I so my friend Jared came over. For he's a friend from work,
Yeah.
and I actually put him in the sim, and he drove a few laps, and I think I think I'm slowly converting him to an addict right now. So
Okay,
I
nice.
think
You're going to cost him a lot of money. We still
yeah.
need to. I still haven't publicised this prize that you've paid for people yet. So I need to make a video that includes that because I want us to definitely make sure we do something really good with those sessions. So
Yeah, my mind's. So I was just thinking. So first of all, I hadn't said anything about the whole prize, but I think it'd be fun. Like, yeah, if you could just turn it into, hey, we have these prizes. If you're interested, you get like a one session with me or whatever, and then getting people to just do a little bit of like trivia or something,
yeah,
and then just getting them to just like getting them acquainted with your teaching style and how much more information they would be able to get out of you. So let me
it's
try to
mainly a
focus
case
right
of
now.
figuring out. Yeah, yeah. You go. We'll talk about it in the break.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to know I hadn't forgotten about them.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, there's plenty of time. I mean, it's not really, and it's only four of them, so it's not like it's going to be that big of a difference. But I thought it'd be useful.
That curb screwed me up as well on one of my really good laps.
Yeah, it's not your friend. It's not your friend.
Maybe you didn't use enough.
I doubt it. Oh well. Next lap. Next lap. I clearly forgot this track, but
It doesn't look bad, for a first lap on the view I've got you on here. It doesn't look bad. You're definitely doing really well at. I'm not joking now. You are definitely using good amount of curb in the chicanes. So
okay.
it's a good starting point.
I think I still struggle with my breaking points and breaking amounts, but I
Okay.
think I think the shape of the track is right in my head,
Yeah.
but I need to. We'll see. We'll see. Let me try to put a good lap.
Yeah. It
I
took me
think
quite a
it's
few.
there.
So take as long as you need.
God fucking damn it, man.
You're like, damn it! I downshifted for a flat out corner.
Yeah, yeah. I don't.
Nice
Well,
curve
I'll tell you.
there. Your positioning in these chicanes is really good.
Ah, shit. Well, there goes everything. But
Don't worry, man. You got loads more laps. I'll tell you how long it took me before I got down to a lap I was happy with.
9, you said.
I did 9 laps total. I did my best lap on lap 7. But, yeah, I was like 6/10 off those laps for the first few. So, probably 5 laps before I was really, you know, a decent place. They're pretty long laps in a Formula 4 car, that's all. It just takes a while.
The guy behind has just done a 152.2.
How about that?
That's not a bad start. It's really not a bad start. You'll find some of that time easily.
Okay, that was just stupid, but I think I deserve to lose all that time right there.
I deserve to lose that time. Love it. It's good to be self-critical.
Oh no, actually, this is hold up. Don't judge me.
No, I'm not. I'm not
Don't judge
judging
me
you.
on-
Don't worry. Don't worry.
You're like, why did you bring me all the way to Mugello for this shit, Serge?
I'm just enjoying the scenery. I'm enjoying watching a race car. Drinking an Italian coffee.
Oh, nice. Ah, come on, bro.
Well controlled. Hey, I went off there a few times, so don't worry.
Okay, completely wrong. Okay, so this is bad.
We're not
next one.
gonna judge it or analyze anything until you're happy you've done a representative time.
Okay, let me try that.
I actually think this is a very tricky car and track combo because you've got to keep up high speed in a car that doesn't have that much downforce. So you
Yes.
are floating around quite a lot in this car. Good first corner.
Ah, shit. I got the...
You did the right
Good.
thing. You did the right thing by not downshifting. That's the first time you didn't downshift for that corner. You ultimately did downshift afterwards, but it's better to not. So
Okay.
accurate and staying in the same gear for that first chicane will be the best way. Well done for lifting to get it to rotate. That looked good. Okay, that looked like the first together lap. Like that looked like that lap wasn't perfect, but it looked pretty decent, that one. Okay.
The guy behind
All
has
right, let me
just
see
done
the
a
data.
151.7.
Okay, let's go with that. I think you're going to see some obvious places where you will find effectively free lap time. So you're going to see some places where it's like you're going to go comfortably quicker. So before we even look at the data, let's just watch this video and just see if we can spot any places where there's just obvious lap time, which we're then going to see in the data. So obviously the straight, yeah, this is just the straight. Right, so I know I always say this. I know you can't hear this. I can hear where you're off the throttle and where you're on. Okay, so you're on the throttle hard right now. Now, I think that suggests you've probably gone in a little bit slow, because I'm pretty sure my front is still just on the limit of scrubbing at this point. I'm just about getting it to turn in still. Like, any more speed and I'd be understeering wide, but I'm just about getting it to turn in. So I think you've potentially slowed it down below where you need to, and you're now speeding back up. But the line looks pretty good, and the fact you're going uphill means actually getting a really good exit is probably an important focus here. So that doesn't look bad. It's the best I saw you do it. You're definitely exiting tighter than I am, but
yeah, I think
we'll see if it's losing you much.
They feed into each other, because if I carry more speed, I should wash out more into the curve on the outside.
Exactly. Yeah, I think you're treating this corner like you have to be tight on the exit. And therefore you're slowing it down more here, because you're thinking you're thinking ahead. You're like, well, I'm gonna be on the right after this, so I need to be slow enough to stay on the right.
But I have time. I have time to
exactly. You can just give yourself the freedom to go a little bit faster in. The problem, if you go too much faster, you will understeer past the apex, then it's worse. So it is hard to get that balance. But what you're doing is definitely not bad, but there might be a slightly quicker compromise. But there's other places where there's a much bigger time gain. But it's probably not optimal, but we'll check the difference. In fact, let's just do the normal thing. Let's just look at mine before we move on. That 237, I had an off track, so I'm going with my second fastest that I did right at the end. Right, so... yeah, I'm on the throttle slightly later, about here. In fact, you can see here.
Yep.
So a little bit later, and I think I'm carrying a bit more speed when I do. And I have to do a lift because I see that early throttle, now I've lifted, I felt that's about to push me wide. So I go again, and then I just ride with it and go a little bit wider. But just, I get to stay full throttle. Right, anyway, back to you. And again, this isn't a fair comparison because you've done like half the laps I have, maybe less than that. Right, this bit here, I really liked this. You stayed in fourth and you used a good amount of curve, maybe just slightly too much. The sausage curves bounce you wide, that's all.
Yeah, sausage, yeah.
And then you went down a gear. I can hear you go down a gear here. I actually think just staying in the same gear is better. But because going down, every time I went down a gear, I was slightly slower than the laps I stayed in the same gear, but just was very smooth and focused on the accuracy through there. So I think you just turned in slightly early. That's all, tiny bit early. Definitely not terrible though. Definitely not terrible. Bit of room on the exit here. So you had a big lift. You had a big lift here, so you could have actually just stayed on the gas. So there's a little bit of time there, but still looks pretty tidy to me, this part. Nice use of the entry curb. Right, really, really good opening up. Definitely missed that one. So yeah, just a little bit more accuracy on the braking to get it to turn in. Even if that means braking a bit earlier, the focus is definitely on being fully across that Italian flag curb.
Yep.
That'll be a really big time gain because it feeds in here. That's good though. You know, you use that one.
And actually, if you go back, I think that was one of the things where So if I stay tighter, now
you'd be like
the problem
here.
Is it closes me up for the next
absolutely. Yeah, really
next corner in the chicane.
Yeah. So it's quite an easy tweak. That very obvious to understand. You know, so you know what to do differently here. Right. Let's see what happens here. You definitely want to clip that curb. When you see my lap, I want to get on the green bit here, but I missed it. Very, very easy to understeer wide here. But if you can go in slightly earlier, maybe with a bit more of a trail brake, that'll get you on there. That'll then set you up here. Now, let's watch this. That bit's pretty good. I think that's good. You're flat out through there. Good line. Now, that's bad. So this bit is where you lose a big amount of time. This is like a second or something you're about to lose here. Maybe seven tenths. So you slow down, turn in really late, and go down a gear. This should just be full throttle. This should just be turn in, flat out, straight through here. Yep. So that sounded like a brake and a downshift there. So this is probably the
totally did.
Yeah, so this is definitely a big time gain you're gonna have through here,
This
particularly because
this
it's
is full,
uphill.
this is full throttle, huh?
Yeah, yeah, this should be full throttle. In fact, let's look at mine because maybe I'm being overly optimistic, but in my mind I'm full throttle. Let's go there.
Yeah. I think you might be right. It's just, but yeah, it's
Okay,
definitely.
let's watch it. Here we go. So I'm lifting for this part. Am I full throttle? Am I full throttle? Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
Wow, all the way. Easy.
Oh,
Yeah.
little lift there. Look, hang on there. Tiny lift, but I actually didn't
Okay.
need it. Because look where the car ends up. I deliberately go wide here. So this is something we're about to talk about. This,
Okay.
going all the way out here, I do it on purpose every lap because it really opens up this next corner. It makes it really
Ah.
easy. So this corner back here, if you go wide, this curb is too steep and sharp and you beat yourself. But this next one, it's slightly less. It's like a few millimeters less sharp, so the car doesn't get beached on it, and you can just use it like part of the extra part of the track, and it makes it really easy to carry that speed. Anyway, back to you. Let's go back on board.
Hey, I think I've lost you. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh,
I can
there you
hear
go.
You got me?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so yeah, so this one, full throttle. At the most, have a lift and turn in early, but don't brake and go down again. You're going to gain loads of time.
Yeah.
And remember, you've got the permission from me to use that extra bit of green. If you go through there quick enough, you might need this. At the speed you're going, because you've already braked for that corner, you're easily going to make it through here without using that extra bit of track. But if you go really fast through this right-hander down here, you probably will need to go wide
Yeah.
here to
I
keep
see, I think
to keep this one full throttle. But
Okay.
all that section should be full throttle, and you can go out here if you need to. Right, next section. This is lovely, Kev. This is what's the visual phrase for music to my ears? This is music to my eyes. Whatever that phrase is. I love it. That was a little late turning in there. So you got loads of curb, beautiful, but in order to do that, you went quite deep and braked late and hard. So I think we just want to brake gently and just turn it in now. Just send
Turn
it
it a
in
little
and
earlier.
use the lateral grip from the tyres rather than like stopping it and in. Yeah, look how straight. You're straight now. I know you've gently turned in up to here, but you're effectively straight and now you turn. So I think it just wants to be more of like an average, you know, just go in earlier.
Brad.
Yes, go on.
Can I do like have one suggestion?
Go on.
Can we for this session pick the sector, not necessarily the sector that is the slowest, because I think there is a lot of nuance to that, but like the sector that has the most
The
Press-
lowest
press
hanging
the
fruit or
issues.
the biggest?
no,
Yeah, okay.
yeah,
Are
yeah,
you-
not lowest hanging fruit, but like the things that you think in terms of like skill levels,
yeah.
I shouldn't do that.
Okay.
Right, like yeah.
Yep.
So just let's pick the ones where like, okay, this is like, you know, I consider you to be, you know, amateur level.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
that's not, we shouldn't do that. And then I just want to focus on like one sector at a time, because my problem, I think, is I try to do too much. I try to keep too much.
Oh, I lost you. Can you hear me? Hello? I think I lost you. If you can hear me, sir, just
Let's
make sure...
focus-
Oh, there we go. I got you back. Sorry, I lost you for a sec.
Oh, sorry.
Just make sure you're out of the car just for a moment, because I can't see any data for you. Are you out of the car?
Yep.
Oh, hang
No,
on. It's 'cause
sorry,
it's-
I'm sorry. No, I'm still in the car. My bad.
That's okay.
Yep.
Sorry, yeah, I heard you, though. We're going to... There we go, Mugello. So we want to focus on, like, a bit more of an isolated place. So I tell you what, then, in order to tell you what that is, let's look at the data and just see where it looks biggest. See what the biggest difference between you and me is and what it feels like you could do different. Let's make this green. Let's delete your previous one. Okay. So, looking at this, it's the same thing in a lot of corners. Can you still hear me, by the way, Serge?
Yeah.
So, the biggest thing, this is going to sound... No, maybe it won't sound too general. The biggest thing is relying on having the speed low to get the car to turn in, when I think you can use the grip of the front tyres to slow you down more towards the apexes. And this is in
Gotcha.
actually almost every corner. If you look at the speed trace here, turn 1, the next chicane, a little bit in the next chicane, definitely here. Definitely here. We knew about this one. This is where you brake and go down a gear. There's a whole brake event that I don't have. Here, here, here. It's every corner entry. You're on that session at least. You are kind of stopping the car and then getting it in. And I want you to gently blend the brakes into the turn, but use the turn into the corner to slow you down to the minimum speed rather than it all being on the brakes. So what I see from most people is actually the opposite. I see most people go in too fast and then have their minimum speed after the corner or after the apex. Whereas when we look at your minimum speed, if we just take this section, which we haven't actually got to yet, your minimum speed comes quite a long way before mine. Yours is here, yours is here. You know, it's like a good... How many meters is that? So that's 3, 5, 6... No, say that. 3, 5, 6, 7... and 3, 6, 5, 3. It's like 80, 90 meters earlier than my minimum speed. So here we go in a nutshell. You're focused too much on having a really clean exit, which means you get great exits comparatively. Or here in the last corner, you got a good mid corner, but it means you're sacrificing too much of the early lap time.
Gotcha. Yeah.
There's a bunch of lap time on the table that we're not.
So push a little bit more on that entry.
In the entry, and we saw it at the very first corner. The first thing we spoke about on this lap, if I go back to the beginning of this lap, very first thing we spoke about when I didn't even see your data was it felt like we got it slowed down loads here, and then you accelerated through the corner. But you shouldn't be able.
Yeah.
I know we've said this before, but you shouldn't have the ability to accelerate that hard that early because you should already be going that quick. That's the aim. And it's difficult because you don't have a big speedo in front of you. You know, I'm not telling you, Serge, get down to 75k. We're not doing that. You can't do that. But
no.
But subconsciously, with the feel of what the car can get away with, that's what you have to do. So how much entry speed can I get away with without running wide of the apex? If you easily make it to the apex, you went in too slow. But conversely, just to make this more tricky, you can also miss the apex by going in too slow and then accelerating so early, you actually end up going too quick in the middle. That's the other thing that's really common, and I'm sure you do it sometimes. In fact, probably here maybe, but on this lap. So this is the long right-hander I said you were better than me at on the other data. On this lap, you slowed it down way more. You got on the power much harder and earlier. You then went faster through the middle and then went wider and slower on the exit. So that's the it's almost like a secondary problem. If you go so slow on the entry, you can then be prompted to go way too fast in the middle. So we have to find that happy zone where you're going quick enough on the entry that you're not wasting time, but you're still going slow enough in the middle that you're accurate, and then you'll get a nice exit without being, without having gone past the limit in the middle. It's quite a tricky thing because you've almost got to go faster to then go faster, if that makes sense. You've got to go fast on the entry so you're not tempted to give it too much power early in the corner and then understeer wide. There we go, that's it. So I haven't told you one sector. You asked me very specifically, let's work on one sector. This is more of like one technique that's going to apply to the whole of the lap.
Yeah, I think let me try to get like a better lap because I think now it's
maybe exaggerated.
I'm just way off my own pace. So if I can get a decent lap, then we can drill on these are like not low hanging fruit.
I lost you again, Serge. Can you hear me?
I think after that I can.
I got you back. Sorry, I lost you for a moment. So just one thing to keep in mind then to get a much better lap this time. The middle sector, where we were, when we went down the hill and we missed that curb just here.
Yep.
And then we had the fast left, which I thought was good, but then you had the brake and the downshift and the really late turn in here. If you can sort this sector out, that's going to be just a massive chunk of time. And then your lap will look a bit closer to what I know you're capable of. So let's go do that. Everything we just said about going in quicker is going to be hard to do on cold tyres. So just bear in mind, you need a lap or 2 laps or so before you've got enough front tyre temperature that you can do the stuff I just told you to do. You can also go back on the brake bias if you want. The default setup, I think, is a couple of clicks too far forwards on the bias. It locks up really easily, so feel free to click backwards if you want.
I don't actually think I've locked up yet.
Okay.
Okay, so I need to just carry more speed in general, and obviously right now it's not gonna
Yeah, don't worry
not
about
gonna
this.
matter, but yeah. Yeah, this is the lap where if I miss the first part of the chicane, I just get screwed on the second part.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I
Now
remember.
that's the curb we want.
Yeah, I think I remember this guy.
And now
This is
don't
flat
brake
out.
and downshift. Just turn in early. You might have to lift on cold tyres. You can use
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
green paint here if you want.
Definitely cold tires, but
Yeah, for sure. There's no tyre warmers with this car either.
yeah, okay. This is definitely one where I thought I was doing it okay, but clearly not, so we'll see.
So that's a good little tester. You definitely tried to go in quicker, but maybe the speed you entered at was a good entry speed, but still too fast for the apex. So that's where we're going to have to
Yep.
do a bit of trailing. I'd say the tyres are probably still a little bit cold. I think next lap they'll be up to temperature.
Whoa, all right. All right.
That's my green paint, Serge. Look how easy that corner was. So
Yeah,
easy
that's
when you use that
night and
green.
day.
Yeah, that was a better turning point that time as well.
I think I slowed down too much, but
Yep, for sure. I could feel that your front tyres were being too protected. I'm like,
yeah.
you would be a brilliant teammate in an endurance race if I had to drive on the same set of tyres you'd just driven, because the fronts would have loads of grip left because you're not scrubbing them or like leaning on them on the entries. We're going to work on this. This is actually a very good idea of yours, Serge, to come to this track in this car. It's almost like a training car because it will expose things like this.
Yeah. No, I think yeah. I can definitely tell there is a lot of weaknesses in this lap, but it's good to see it.
That was more like it. You didn't carry on too quick. You got it slowed down by the middle.
Oh, come on, bro. Come on. Are you serious?
That wasn't too bad. It was just a little bit of sausage curve. That's better through there for sure. You're definitely going to need the green this time. Oh, maybe not the gravel. Okay. Apart from the gravel, it's all right. The car's fine. The car will repair itself. Apart from the gravel, that was good. You can carry on. Oh, you can carry
Sorry
on.
about that.
That's okay. Damage is turned off. You could keep going with warm tires.
Oh shoot! I totally missed that.
That's okay. It's unusual. It's just in my sessions I turn it off so you get to, if that does happen, you can carry on with the same tyre condition.
Damn it. Yeah.
But you did the previous corner really well. You just used a bit too much of the green. You just used like, you know, a few centimetres too much green.
Yeah, I know the tires are cold. I'm just trying to get to a feel for the nose and when it bites.
Yeah. It's good to push yourself like this and find the limit, even if a few times you go past it.
Yeah, so clearly this guy, I don't have the right turn-in point. I know I don't, but I feel like...
Okay, nice job. Nice job, man. Yeah, just about. So I think a little bit of that understeer is cold tyres, so you're still on your outlap, aren't you?
Yep. It doesn't look that way, but I haven't done... This is still the outlap. I don't know. I feel like this track, I just like it. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter, but... Yeah, okay, yeah.
I think for this car, we spoke about it at the beginning, it's quite a wide track for this car, so the corners are pretty long and open, so you do have the ability to have these really fast entries because it's not tight like a typical F4 track, so you are really going to have to like lean on the front end to maximise lap time because the corner entries are just so open. You're going to be going in really fast.
Let me try to put a good lap. Let me try to pretend that I know what I'm doing.
Okay, I'm going to keep quiet. Ooh, nice apex. Okay, so that downhill right, I've seen it on a few laps now, that downhill right-hander is not as fast as you think it is. The next corners are fast, but the downhill right requires a bit more slowing down to get in. Obviously, I want you to only slow down to the limit of the fronts, but if you go deep in that downhill right, you're absolutely screwed for the high-speed section that follows it.
Yep.
You can do like a gentle early brake, guide the car in over that apex curb, but don't go in so fast that you go more than halfway deep into the corner, if you see what I mean. We want to end up in the middle of the track, not on the far left. But then after that, the corners that follow it, that's where you're sweeping and going full throttle and carrying loads of speed.
Okay. Was my braking point into T1 right, or am I a little early or late?
On the last lap, I'd have to wind it. Oh, hang on. Yeah, no, I am live. Sorry, I thought I was behind you or something. Let me watch. I'm just watching it back just to check. It looks pretty good. It doesn't look early. I need to compare it exactly against mine. But it doesn't look like you're braking really early or anything like that. That's nice. Twice through there, that's good. So this next corner is an early, gentle brake so you don't go in too deep. And then you can go for it. Yeah, that's much better. Much, much better. Well done.
Fuck yeah.
Just about made that. We went in a little early into that uphill right there, but you made it, just.
Barely. By the skin of my teeth, man. Why don't you want a trail break, Serge? Why don't you want a trail break, bro? Okay, let me try one more, one more,
Yeah,
one
yeah,
more.
yeah. Keep going, man. It's fine.
I'm so afraid of the trail break, man. Like my brain is like, you're stepping on a landmine if you turn when your brake is still
Right.
on,
Okay.
and I gotta work with this. I know that that's a limiting factor right
You
there.
only have to
I
brake a
just
teeny bit. You only need like 5% brake pressure.
The guy behind has
Okay.
just done a 151.2.
okay.
That looked pretty good, turn one. Again, every
You dumbass.
time into the left, you're good.
I fucked that up, but I think I know where.
So slightly later turn into this next right. I don't think that was any later. I think that was actually earlier.
No, I think it was a little earlier. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, wrong way, but
The proof was in the exit position, but that's fine. That's fine.
yeah. Very, very sloppy.
It's
It's
up
a
to me. It's up to me to give you the tools to figure out where to turn in better. So, I'm going to look back at it after this run, and see why you chose that point. And we'll try and figure out why I'm choosing a point, and why I'm using the information differently, and how I'm coming to that conclusion. So,
well, I think it's also practice. Like I need to work on it. I need to let me try one more.
yeah, go on. We got time.
Try to get a decent, string it decent together.
I'm sure you're entering that corner better now. Like, your speed is much higher.
Ah, come on.
That was
Serge.
only a little wide. It was only a little wide. You can make up for that. Remember, you don't want to go too deep into this one, otherwise it will make the next ones harder.
Turn, bro. Yep.
Good stuff. So just slightly later into this one, it should be flat out. Good stuff. Easy that time. Easy peasy. That was good.
Stupid idiot. God damn, yo. They're not getting any better.
I think some of it's getting better.
No, I think the high-speed section is getting better, but like the whole. Oh, actually, I did trail brake right there, and I think I held it together.
Yeah, it looks nice. You made it to the apex.
Okay, one more, Red. One more.
It's okay. Keep going, man.
So this one is, I think, a little too late. You see, I brake too much. Okay, so this was, I think the previous lap was too much, and this is.
Nice, you've got the turning point into that easily now. That was better than last time, for sure.
Come on, dude. Okay, that's it. I think I need to look at the data and just like.
Yeah, well, you've gone faster, obviously, so... And pretty consistently as well. Good job,
All right.
Serge. Right, which lap do you think is most representative? Don't worry about what the lap time is. Was that last one better
think
in
the
most places than the one
I think
before?
two laps ago, I would say.
So the 150.2?
150.3.
The 150.3, okay, that's the one we'll take. So if you just hop out of the cockpit, let's look at that. Let's have a little look. And then I think we're going to do some chat about how I know you know this stuff and we've gone over it before, but we should just recap how you assess whether or not you're actually on the limit of the front tyres and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. And also, there's a few times I spotted where I think maybe you were causing yourself an extra issue because when you got back on the power, you maybe went too hard. So there was a point at which in the penultimate corner, that long right-hander down the hill, on that last lap you just did, everything looked pretty good, and you got back on the power at the right time, but it looked like you went straight to full power, and then you were like, no, it's going to run wide. You kind of had to back off again. If you if you'd introduced the throttle just a bit more smoothly, it wouldn't have suddenly gone to understeer. It would have just kind of gripped and carried on round. So the way you get back on the gas will be part of this, but it's a whole complex thing, isn't it? It's what speed you're doing when you turn in, it's how much brake pressure you keep on whilst you're turning, how you modulate and reduce that brake pressure up to the apex, how much lock you use, how you get back on the power. All those things kind of interplay. So it's not a simple thing. But
no, it's definitely not, and it's coming at you like very fast. So
this was a much harder track car combo than I thought at first. I think it's harder in this car than it was in like Super Formula and stuff, where you've got a bit more grip to paper over the difficulties. Right, so let's make this colour a bit more bright. Let's go pink. Okay, so this is the lap you just did. Right, so you're clearly way better in the high speed.
Yeah, so you see I'm back to 2 seconds up, so which I think is my baseline.
Yeah, this is much better. This is much better. So you've really fixed the high speed section here. So let's see. Serge, what was the thing we just spoke about, right? What was the whole point of that last run? It was to eradicate you slowing down.
Me slowing too much, yeah.
And then, right, let's just look at the final 3 proper corners and let's see whether or not you did exactly that. Look at the pink line here. It's way better. It's way better. You just essentially completely fixed the thing we were just talking about in these corners at least. Look, you're not stopping it and then accelerating into the corner. You're slowing it down very similarly to me. Just slightly more cautious, but not really, really cautious. Look, your minimum speed is 4k different. No, sorry, hang on. Which one? We're looking at pink. So 133. No, like 3k different. There. But before it was, you were doing like 118k way before the apex. No, not anymore. Like, this is way better now. This is way, way better. And then into this one, into the long right-hander. Okay, you've got this little bit here where, in fact, let's zoom in. You know what I just said about how you got back on full throttle quite early?
Yep.
Just here?
Yep.
You see
right
that
there,
bit exactly there?
Yep.
And look what it did. Look what it did. It sped you up too much and it fucked your exit. You were like, right here, you were just right. 2 kilometers an hour off me, but like pretty much there. Everything good. And you see at that point, I gently get on the gas, hold it, and then go to full throttle. Whereas you went boom, straight to full throttle. Hey, I diagnosed the thing that we then saw in the data later from watching you in real time.
Yeah.
That's really good. But just so much better than what you were doing before. Now that's all you need to fix. Just that little bit there. Just don't go straight to full throttle. Everything was fine. just carry on as you are, gentle gas, and then as you exit, get to full throttle then, and then the exit here will be fine, and you'll match me in the middle, and you'll match me on the exit. So that's cool. Final corner, way better. Before you were like stopping it, accelerating into the corner, and then slowing down again. We've still got a very slight W shape, because you are still slightly slowing it too much on the entry.
Yep.
But way less. So your W is kind of offset.
Yeah,
now you're going a bit too quick here, which means you're going a bit slower there, but it's not much. Look at our exit speeds. I'm doing 142, you're doing 140. Here it's still just 2k different. Here 1k different. So there's a little loss because you speed it up too much here. But if we go in slightly quicker, you'll be trailing the brakes for longer. You see on my brake, you're trailing. Yeah. You are trailing. You know, you said you were, and you are. I'm just trailing for longer because I'm going quicker. I have to. Because I'm going in faster, I have to stay on the brakes all the way to there, whereas you've finished back there. That's all. So we'll go into the final corner a bit quicker. Do exactly what you did, just slightly more, like slightly more entry speed. And then the reason that you slow down more is you brake a tiny bit earlier and your pressure's a tiny bit harder on the way in. But not much.
Yeah,
you're doing roughly the right thing.
I'm still braking too hard. I feel like I need to brake. Like look at like when I see your
the peak pressure's not too hard. The peak pressure's fine. It's just it came a little too soon and sustained a little bit too much. You know, this is such an open corner. It's such a long corner. If you do a narrower entry like me, you see you're going a bit deep and then trying to cut back. If you do a narrower entry like me, think of how much speed is being scrubbed off just by turning in. We're turning and turning and turning and turning and turning and turning. So, like, I don't need to brake as hard as you there because I'm just, like, slowing it down by turning. And by the time I get to there, wherever that is in the corner, there, we're pretty much at the slowest point. And then I actually have a secondary. I have a W shape as well, actually. But that's because the corner's so bloody long. It's almost like I'm almost treating it as two corners because you're in it for so long. You have to speed up a little bit in the middle. But anyway, main thing is go in quicker and slightly shallower. And that'll naturally tempt you to carry that little bit more entry speed. Because at the moment, you know you've got a bit of a tight turn happening here. Well, my tight turn doesn't happen till like there, quite a lot later. I've basically straightened the end of or straightened the beginning of the corner so that I can get away with that extra speed. But anyway, sorry, go on.
actually turning, like if you can see on the brakes, like on the data, I just need to be more. Let me try to do one more.
So this was the lap. This is what we were just looking at.
Yeah, you've already turned. Yes,
Yeah,
you've already turned.
I'll show you where I'm looking. If we go in the cockpit, I know you can't see the corner at this point, but I know I'm going to go here somewhere. So in slow-mo, I'm looking over here, and I want to touch that curb. I'm focused on getting to here all the time. I want to be right there. And now you're looking for an apex over here somewhere.
Yeah, it's already too late.
So that's why I've got that faster entry speed, because I don't have that. You see now where you're turning the wheel more, there, I don't have that lock on mine. Mine,
yeah.
Where do I go to see mine? Let's go there. I need like a even faster fast forward speed so I can get there quicker. Right, so, what an idiot! I just clicked the wrong button. Sorry, Serge, you got to ride on board with me again.
That's cool. I think I'm learning. Well, it's a little too fast right
a
now.
little bit. Right, so let's see in slow-mo. So look, I'm already turning. I'm already focused on this curb.
Yeah, already
see
there. Yeah.
Making corrections because I've gone in fast and the rear's trying to go.
This is actually pretty dumb on my side because I think longer corners don't really need to be opened as much. I don't know why I don't dive for the apex earlier on. It's really more like the.
Yeah, you're right. Because it's so big, doing that big late apex. It's a bit like, do you remember when we first did Luffield at Silverstone? You know, that like real long right-hander. You can go in deep and cut back, but you eventually just reach the inside and have to wait. It's a bit like that because it's so long. In order to get that really good cutback on the exit, you'd have to go so deep and wait so long to cut back. it doesn't work. You've lost too much time on the entry. So the compromise works better with that like earlier entry. In fact, let's just show you at full speed.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's how I'm treating it anyway. And just if we just zoom back on the data, just to see if there's anywhere else that's like an easy thing for you to change. The good news is you did exactly what we asked for in that. So you really, really did. Turn 1, what happened here? Nice trail. Good trail on the brakes. I think you maybe trailed a little bit too heavily, as in the pressure was a bit too high, but you're doing the right thing. And you asked about the braking point. It's definitely not too early. You're braking later than me by a few meters, so that's not bad.
Actually, that's probably why it was a little bit harder. I think a little, like a smidge earlier.
Yeah,
and...
look at your speed. You're slowing down later than me, all the way into the
Yeah,
braking zone.
yeah.
So you can back it off a bit.
I could.
This needs to change though. Look at first chicane. See how you're doing. This is you and you, obviously, and it's a totally different style into the first chicane for me. The reason I'm going 20 kilometers an hour quicker all the way in is because I'm putting the weight on the nose with that trail all the way to there. You've been full throttle for like 15 meters before I finished braking. So that there, you can see when I get on the gas, look how it's like very gradual because I'm already going so fast. If I go straight to full throttle, I'll understeer off. But even with that,
hold on. But
this is
your
the first
speed.
chicane.
Okay, so the speed here is way higher.
But
so how do you
but you still go deep, look. So my speed's faster, but you're the one that goes deeper. But it's because you're full throttle, like here, that pushes you wider and wider and wider and wider. Now we're going the same speed, but you're already on course to run wide because the car's already understeering.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So I'm trying not to ever get to a point where I'm actually understeering. That's why I'm being smooth getting back on the gas. But because I'm going quicker, I've got a bit more downforce, and I'm trailing the brakes to keep the weight on the nose. So my car just goes through there more easily. If we just go back to see that corner. So this is a little bit like what we were talking about earlier, where because you're going in too slow, that's actually making it harder to get through the corner on the right line because you're accelerating earlier.
Can you play that one in slow-mo real quick?
So this is the first chicane in slow-mo. Here we go. I'll leave this up so you can see the brake and stuff.
Yeah, so you're very gentle on the brake and you clip the apex. You maintain that you're right there. No, yeah. It's funny because this is exactly what I'm trying to do.
and I haven't changed down. Remember, you're going down a gear for this corner because you're expecting a lower entry speed. So you're like brake, down. You're in the right gear for the speed you're doing, but we want you to be going quicker. So we don't want you to want that gear. It's going to be quite low in the revs in this gear. What is it, fourth? Yeah, it's going to be quite low in the revs in fourth, but that's fine because you don't want it to accelerate really quickly. You're already on the limit. You know, you want it to just gently go through, and then by the time you get to the exit, the revs have picked up a bit, and it's all good. Here's the full speed version.
Yes, super gentle on the brake.
Yeah, really gentle.
Really brake. Like
gentle, but later and much longer. Like you're like brake off, and I'm like gentle. There we go. So yeah, that's that one.
No,
I think. Go on.
You're really. I don't like to say it's funny because I try to find analogies and then when I listen to myself later on in the recording, I'm like, I hate what I just said. It's difficult to explain because I think you're using the brakes to kind of like just scrub the speed to the appropriate speed, whereas I'm just really sorry. The other way around. You're using the brakes to kind of like give you that front end bite, as opposed to I'm using the brakes.
It's not really for deceleration, or it's for deceleration, but it's also for weight transfer. Like, and I want to keep the weight on there.
That's what. Yeah, you want that sharp thing, and for me, I'm decelerating. I'm using the brakes to decelerate, and that's kind of like a trap. I should just really for that first chicane complex, just negotiate the corners using the brakes to turn.
Yeah, use like thread the needle, like just kind of guide the car through. Don't get it stopped and turn. Just guide it through at the highest speed you can. And if you go through and it runs wide, then just consider consider
pull it back a
braking,
little bit.
yeah, a little earlier and more gently, so you can like tweak what the nose does. One thing I just
Yeah.
noticed too, which I didn't know I was doing, but I'm coming off the throttle really progressive. It's quite an unusual thing, but because I don't want it to suddenly dive, I don't want the weight to go bam straight on the nose and maybe like overload it or make the rear unstable. That's probably the main thing. I don't want the rear to be unstable on entry and cause oversteer, but I do want some weight on the nose. Look how I'm coming off the throttle here whilst I've already started braking. I'm actually double pedaling here, so I've still got some throttle on here, but I'm reducing it like gradually, very linear way. So it's more of like a real gentle transition to the weight on the nose, but then it stays there. So it's not like bam. It's like guiding it in. That's why it goes where I tell it to. In fact, in slow-mo, you're going to see both pedals on at the same time here. There's that moment where they're both on. It's quite unusual to overlap like that, but
Yeah,
it's because
you're using I mean, I need to use the brake for rotation in that chicane, because it's funny that like wow man, this is really good. And then you stay left, and then that opens up that right one like so nicely. Yeah, getting that chicane right just feels so good.
your curb position's good. I think where you're aiming to put the car is good. It's just let's actually watch yours now through there. You said it was that other lap, wasn't it? Oh, hang on, there we go. It won't let me look at yours from that lap because obviously you weren't even in the session when I did that lap. So
Yeah,
right, let's just watch yours through there. Now we've seen my one a few times. No, we don't have the pedal inputs.
yeah, it's too late. I think it's too late.
A little late, yeah, a little late, which is why you get all the way up on the sausage curb.
Yeah.
But even so, then you run wider because I'm like over here somewhere. So
Yeah, and then that just fucks me up.
and then you're too tight there. Yeah, I think the key,
I mean,
do it in
you
fourth.
can.
Start off by doing it in fourth, and at the same time brake later and more gently, and think of go faster on the entry, but by trailing the brakes in. That's like the key. But you've got to be really precise with the steering. It's a real needle thread. It's not like a stop turn. It's a guide it in, and obviously with the mindset trying to stay slightly to the left. But yeah, that's a tough one. It's hard. I found it hard. But there's a lot of lap time potential there.
What I like about this track is that I think a lot of it is about using the steering just to corner.
Yeah.
Because you want to carry, like you said earlier, you want to carry as much momentum as you can, because it's a very wide track for the amount of power and performance that this guy has. Let me try one more lap.
Let's do it. I want you to know your braking pressures everywhere are so much better than before. Like have you changed your brakes since you set that previous data? You know,
Nope.
the 2 months ago. You don't have different pedals since 2 months ago.
Nope. No.
Okay, well you're just doing it better then, because look how good it looks. Like very similar. This almost could be the same driver on 2 different sessions. You know, like the way you're matching what I'm doing in the second half of the lap is now very good. It's just this first half we've got some gaps still. So first chicane, stay in fourth, guide it through. That's going to make this all better. And second chicane, third chicane. This is before we go down the hill. On your best lap here, or on this lap that we're looking at, you went in a little too fast into that right, which then pushed you on. I think you fixed it after this, though. I think on the laps after this, you fixed it. So maybe that's an erroneous bit of data there. I'm pretty sure you did that better later on.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I think you did.
Okay.
So I just
let me.
Yeah, no. Go drive. We'll look after this one.
Let me try one more, just because I think what I'm doing right there is I think I'm starting to get a better feel for using the brakes to help me corner, but I still think I'm not. Yeah. So right here.
Obviously cold tires, but
Yeah,
well,
this is
well
way
done for
too
keeping
early.
it in the right gear.
Yeah, fourth. Just you know.
I'm in fourth for this one too, so it's down one, early turn.
Yeah, okay. Fourth. Those two fourth, and this guy is fourth as well, right?
I need to check. I'm not sure what I'm in.
I don't know, yeah, but it doesn't. I don't think it really matters because either way,
So I am
it's not.
I'm in 5th down the hill there. Yeah, so you're going down to 4th on some laps, but I'm 5th all the way through that downhill part.
It's a good thing there is no damage because this floor is gone.
You don't have to pay for it. It's all good.
You're too kind, Brad. I was like, this would be an expensive outlap. So you don't need to open that up here nearly as much. Obviously, the rear is trying to step out, so it'll be different on the hot lap.
I want you to feel a little bit of understeer into the final corner. Then you know you're on the limit. I don't want it to understeer really wide. I just want you to feel a little bit of understeer. And if you don't feel it, you could have gone in quicker. Oh, lovely, Serge. Well done. I can't see your delta,
Wide,
but it looks
wide,
nice
wide.
from...
Definitely wider than. Definitely wider than I would have liked, but.
Well done. Yep, you kept it in the same gear as me through there now.
Okay, so next time around, I think I'll be I'll do slightly better job. Try to. Slowed it down too much, but I got you.
You can cut this chicane more as well. You can go all 4 wheels off on both sides. You have to
Oh, okay.
really try to get an off track there, so you can really cut it.
All right, let's do it cleaner, slightly cleaner this time. Again. Well. Slightly better entry speed.
Oh, nice curb. I think you can turn right into this one a bit earlier. Because we're never really near the inside through there.
Oh, I see. Okay, the high speed was not great this time.
That was a good curb. I love this kind of big, wide, flat curb. Like at Silverstone.
Yeah, those are great.
So you can really cut these. Yeah, nice.
Not great. Not great.
Go again. Do another one.
Still really struggling with that turn one, and it definitely feels like any.
That's better. For turn 1, do the downshift earlier. Sounds like you're still downshifting when you're like past the apex, so it should be like brake down, 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 like as quick as you can, basically. That'll help you with the rotation into there. That's nice. Okay, so remember this next right-hander, we want to get to the inside. Quite a lot earlier than that, though. So I know you were a bit off, out of position on the approach that time, so it was a bit difficult to do.
Definitely going faster in that section, but not.
Remember, very gentle throttle when you start to get back on.
So not like that.
Basically, the more carefully you apply the throttle, the less chance you're going to have to lift back off again. I'm going to give you a Jackie Stewart quote. Do you want to do another lap? Do you want to go again? Do you want another chance to prove yourself?
Last one.
Okay, last one. Let's do it. I mean, you've done a 50.0, so you've done a decent effort. I just think you can go a little quicker. So remember, don't downshift too late for turn 1. Get it down before the apex.
Ah, shite.
That was a bit closer to the inside that time. Oh, that was good. That was a nice entry into there.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, I just watched it back to see exactly where. Yeah, it was because you got on the power a little too early and hard. It then meant you had to get off the power again at the end.
Still 2/10 down. Why? Why, oh why? Just last one. This is it. This is it. I gotta go home after this.
Well done for getting it in there.
This is all I get.
Okay, so carefully thread it in here.
Oh, so not like that. You're not using the front two, and yeah, I lost most of the gains right here.
Okay, good. Now this next right, get it to the inside, like now.
Oh no, I missed it. Come on.
I think that curb caused you a slight issue. Ah, decent effort through there.
Way too early. And way too late. Perfect. Okay. All right. Well.
Aborting. Okay. Right. So,
well,
should we
it is what it is.
do we want to look at the 150.1 that you did on the last lap? Because that was like, I know you did a 50.0 early in this run.
Yep.
But the last lap you did is probably like the most relevant. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Are you pushed for time, Serge, or have you got a few minutes?
Oh no, I get time, but you're
Okay.
you're. I know we're already 20 minutes over time, so
Don't worry, man.
I don't want to.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem. Let's have a
Yeah,
look
I'm
at
out of the
this.
car, so the data should pop up. Yeah, man, like I don't. This is surprisingly.
It's hard.
it's-
We're trying to break some habits of yours, so don't
Yes.
worry, it's fine. Right, so let's make this one green. The most recent lap there is green. Okay, so turn 1, I think now maybe you're pushing it a little too hard. Or, oh, hang on, what's going on here? Why are we slowing right down? Ah, okay, I thought we weren't getting it down to 3rd gear. So the reason you're coming off turn 1 like bogged down and slow is partly because we were trying to go through there in 4th. It sounded like that, but I wasn't 100% sure. So you tried to go through in 4th and really, really tight. So actually, up until then, okay, we braked slightly early, but this phase is actually really good. And here, we're basically matched for speed. And you had the width, you could have just carried that speed and gone wide, but you chose to stay in 4th and stay tight. So that's where some of this time has gone. So actually, right now, you're 0.061, so 600ths down. And then here, as you exit and go up the hill in 4th, you've lost like 4/10 on that lap.
Yeah,
More.
yeah, okay.
Nearly half a second. So that's an easy fix. Just get down to 3rd, and it will exit way, way faster than that. Okay,
Yeah.
now you are definitely trying to go into the chicane faster. Definitely. But not remotely enough trail braking. You're doing a little bit, but you can go in quicker with more braking all the way to like there. So you've gone in the right direction, but you can, you know what I was saying about how you know when you're going a bit too slow, so you then get on the power, but that means you're getting on the power way too early. Again, look where you're back to full throttle. You're not even at the apex. If you're able to get to full throttle before the apex, you should have already been going that quick. Like if you're slowing it down and then accelerating again, you've just done an extra slow that you didn't need to do. So go in fast enough that you can't do that. We don't want you to be able to get on the power, because I'm not able to get back on until here, and even here I'm really gentle because I'm going that much quicker. But then what it's done is it sped you up, and now you're going too quick through the middle. And so then you're having to lift at exactly the point I'm getting on. So it's basically trying to rush it here. It's going in a bit too slow. It's prompting you to then rush the throttle in the middle, which then causes you the secondary lift. So it's this kind of opposite speed line that we just want to try and avoid. I can see that you've definitely tried to go in quicker, because look how much faster you're going than the pink line. But you haven't gone in quick enough that you've been prompted to stay off the gas. You need to be going in here thinking, well, yeah, I definitely can't get back on yet. Not yet, not yet, not yet. Now maybe. But you're being prompted to accelerate too early because the speed in is too slow. That's the reason for sure. Right, hang on. I've clicked off by mistake. That's what I meant to click. Next corner, way better, actually. Look at this. Second chicane. Pretty much exactly what I'm doing now. So definitely not underdriving it. You're going in slightly quicker than me. Going slightly deeper, but you know, not much off. If we go from here, you're 9/10 down, and here, you're less than that. You've actually gained on me through there, and by here, by the time we break for the next corner, it's Serge. Look at that. Look at the gap here.
Wow.
9/10 at the breaking point. By the next breaking point, you've lost 1,000th, or if I wind it back a bit, you haven't. So that's pretty good. Second chicane. Let's take that as a win. That's good. That's
decent chicane.
You've definitely stopped going in way too slow. Look, you're not slowing it down like on the pink one, so that's good. Third chicane. Let's see what happened on this lap. Probably slightly overslowing. Much better exit though. Look at how much better you are through here. So because you're going in slower here, so we've lost nearly 1/10 from here, so there to there. I bet you're about to gain a bunch back. So we're just under a second off. By the time we get to here, we're less than that. So, yeah, you've pulled it back. So you're now quicker than me all the way through this high-speed bit to here. Where it starts to go wrong is the bit where we knew it was going wrong, where you're turning in a bit too late for the fast right-hander.
Yeah.
Without that, you've now matched me, certainly in the first part. You're better than me, if anything, in the first part. But here it goes a little bit wrong. So from here, let's zoom in. All right, look, it doesn't look like much here because we're about the same. But then look, you get wider and wider and wider. And where I'm on the inside here, you're that little bit wider.
Tight,
And you're having to lift. Because you've gone later, you're having to lift there, and then we lift there as well. So that's the bit where we lose. So here you're like 9/10. And then by the time we brake for the next chicane, we've lost 3/10 or so there. So, but that's all flat out. So if you hook up the line, then you won't lose 3/10 because it's full throttle. It's just about timing when to turn. As long as you've got time, let's just look at. I just want to show you in full speed what I'm thinking about, where I'm looking through there, because I said a few times get close to the inside, but it obviously wasn't obvious how I was doing that. So I think we're in the right corner here. Let's go on board. Yeah, so here. I'm just turning. Okay, on this lap I did have a little bit of a lift. Little lift there. But even before the lift, even before I've lifted, I'm already nearly there on that inside. Whereas you were just like a car width wider than that, and then out in all the marbles and shit over there. So that was all relatively easy. And here, obviously, it is just full throttle. Right, so what am I thinking about here? Because you're turning in a little early sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to think of what I'm using as a... Like, there's obviously a reason I turn in when I turn. So I'm trying to think what that is. I think it's... Basically, I stay wide until I can see far enough around the corner that I'm mentally picking this line of out here, I'm going to touch the apex at the sharp point, but at an angle, which means I'm almost facing out of the corner. I don't want to turn in early enough that when I hit that curb, I'm facing that way. I want to be facing that way a bit more. So I'm choosing a point that makes it feel like I'm going to be further round the corner when I get there. At that angle, like a tweak of the angle. I know that's not a very good answer, but it's like now I feel like I'm facing out of the corner and there's no danger of running onto that gravel. But yeah, that's not a very good, it's not a very good, I haven't really given you a method to use there. Basically, if you turn in and you run wide on the exit, turn in later next time. If you still run wide on the exit, turn in later next time, because at some point we know that corner is full throttle. So if you turn in at the right point, it's full throttle. If you turn in too early, you're going to go too wide. And so that's it. Just maybe part of it's trial and error until I found the bit that felt the best. Anyway, so that there is like 3/10. And then let's look at the rest. So we're looking at your... Which is the one? It's the pink one, isn't it? Sorry, the green one is the one you just did.
The green one is the latest one.
Yeah. So then through this chicane. Pretty good exit. Yeah. I think this is slightly better. So, okay, you are slowing it down a tiny bit more. You're quicker through the middle. And the exit here is a lot better. So, before, you were 1.362. And then, so you were losing like 0.2. And now it's 1.291. And now you're losing just so 291. So now it's just over a tenth. So you have pulled that back a bit, I think. So this exit is the key. So that's looking pretty decent. What happened here? This is a mess. Something here is not right. we're struggling with this bit. Okay, what is it?
I think that one is just I think mentally I was like, okay, I already lost the lap, and so I'm not into the. Oh no, I think this was just a mistake. I think this is the one when I clipped the yellow the.
So this is into the long right-hander. I think what's happening here is similar to other places. You're starting off fine, and then you're overslowing it, getting back on the power here. Look, just here.
Oh, that's where I said the W thing. Yeah, I remember that.
That then pushes you. Like, so here you're going really bloody quick, but look how wide you're about to go when you look at the GPS, and then you have to lift here right at the point where you should be speeding up more and more and more. You have to lift, and then that screws you down the rest of the straight. So here to here, you make a little gain, 1.63. You make like a tenth and a half gain. But then you lose all of that and more down the rest of the straight because you've had to back off. This is where I said I was going to use a Jackie Stewart quote. I might have said this to you before. This is not a direct quote, but it's a paraphrase. He said, you shouldn't ever commit to an amount of throttle that you can't follow through with. If you get on the power and then have to get back off it in the same corner, that was a mistake. Like, you should only get on the power when you know you're going to be able to keep it on. So whether that's smoothly bringing it in, so you're giving it more and more and more, waiting, more. But what you shouldn't do, unless there's a particularly good reason for it, so some corners there might be a good reason, you shouldn't get on and then back off. And obviously here you're on, off, on, off. So that's the big difference. And you can say I'm guilty of it slightly here in the blue. I get on a little bit and come off. So it would have been better if I'd been a bit more gradual there myself and then carried on. But anyway.
No, but I totally get this. This is like, but it's almost always the case that I think if I had been more gradual with the throttle, I would have realized that, I can do more, or at least like the front is not following. I think, I was a little too eager on this one. I think it's just like, it goes back to, I think it's I realized the lap is already bad and I'm already sort of like not being precise enough at this point.
Also, if you're more gradual, it gives you a little bit more time to realise if it's going wrong, and it's easier to fix. If you go straight to full throttle, you're about to have a big problem probably. If you're just creeping it up and you're like, oh, I went slightly over, you can just bring it slightly back, and it hasn't had time to get to develop into that widening there. You might go slightly wide, but you're like, that's okay, just a small tweak and I'll come back. But you build up quite a bit of momentum running wide when you're committed to full. Yeah. Final corner, what happened here? Okay, quite different in this one. So let's have a look. You're doing it very differently. I didn't mean to click that. Okay, right. Now you're definitely doing more of my technique on the way in. I think you've maybe exaggerated it slightly too much in terms of the line.
Look the green line is much.
Yeah, so you've just gone the other way a bit too far, which is why you have that minimum speed is a bit too low. It's just a tighter corner for you. You just made it a bit tight. But you tried, and this bit's good. Look, like right here, you're basically matching me exactly. It's just then you have to pay the price for going in so narrow, which is having to slow down more. That's all. But look how much nicer your brake trail is. Like, that's good. And actually, just to go back to the previous corner, I know it wasn't a great corner, but if I zoom in here, look how much better you're being with the trail. It was just a little bit too hard here to here, which is why you end up a bit too slow. That's why this is a little bit too low. So, but you're doing the right thing. Like, I want you to finish this session knowing that you definitely went in the right direction. You just haven't unlocked the pace potential that comes with actually finishing the job. Nailing it. You've got to you've got to go that way and keep fine tuning it until it's actually exactly right. Because obviously in that final corner there, you've not really gained much over your previous technique, even though you've gone in my direction, because you've gone a bit too far. It's similar lap time to what you did before, because now you're going slower in this bit. Your exit's way better though. Like, you have definitely fixed the exit a lot. So here,
I definitely felt. It's funny you mentioned that, because I do feel like the exit onto the left.
Yeah, you didn't lose anything. You gained 5 thousandths. Look, 1.855, 1.850. So your exit's now fine. Now we just need to fix the the middle entry to the middle of the corner. That's where the rest. If you can get it under control like you are there, but with a bit of extra entry speed, instead of having to speed up to that minimum that I've got, that's where the rest of that time is. You see how much earlier you're able to get on the gas again because you've gone slower. But you've definitely gone in the right direction. Definitely. If we had another run, the thing I'd be saying here is what we just said. Still go narrow, just not quite as extreme as you went that time. And then you're fine. Then you've sorted it. I definitely think there were positives there, Serge. I think that was quite a hard slog. I think this car and track is hard because you've got to keep a lot of speed up.
But this is really weird because I lose 1 second in the first 2 corners. Like if you go back from like when right here.
Yeah.
Right here, that's a second. So if you look from the beginning of the lap to this, but over the rest of the lap, I only lose another second.
Yeah, you're completely right. Because here to here, you're not really losing anything, and that's 0.3 there to there. So if you get rid of that, there'll be even less over the second 2/3 of the lap. Like effectively from here onwards, you're barely losing anything. So you're right. It's the first 2 corners. That's really where the big time is.
It just blows my mind. Like how I get to a second off. Almost within after the 2 corners, and then it takes the rest of the lap to lose that other second.
Yeah, You're
I
right.
need to really I need to really tighten that first lap up,
So
first corner up.
third gear at turn 1. We definitely need to go into turn 2 quicker to prevent you from getting back on the power when you shouldn't be. So
Yep.
we don't want this full throttle moment before the apex.
Do
We
you
want
mind
to just go in quicker.
do you mind putting those notes
Yeah,
just
yeah,
for the
yeah. Sorry,
first
sorry.
the
I've
first corner?
completely
No, no,
forgotten to
just
write notes. Let's do it.
just the first corner and the first chicane, because I think like now that I'm looking at this data, I'm like I should at least be able to scrub off that first 1 second. Like this is just like, I mean, I'm not saying I'm gonna get rid of all of it, but like it's kind of incredible to me. Like yeah, right there, like it's already just like I'm already a second off, and we haven't even started the lap properly, and then I do a decent job, just only losing 1 second for the entirety of the lap, of the remainder of the lap. Let's just say I front loaded my loss.
So it's that. So I'm going to just make a note specifically on that. There. And here, I'm making several notes because this is crucial. So you can see how it takes me from there, 964, to there, to 1,000 meters. So it's like 35 meters between starting the throttle and getting to full throttle. So it's like quite
Yeah.
smooth application. That coupled with, I'm going to do a little note down here as well.
And what is that? What is that amount that you're at? You're at 15%.
It's like
15.
12, 9%. We're looking at the brake, and then the last little nudge is 6%.
Yeah, that's nothing.
That's,
But that
it's over a
second
long
nudge is for
period.
the second nudge is for the second phase of the corner, the second phase of the chicane.
This is still for the left-hander there, but that's
Yeah.
because I'm just like, I've just assessed, and I'm not quite at the angle I want. It's like a little teeny extra, like icing on top to make sure it definitely turns how I want.
Yep.
And then that one obviously is just a
Fantastic.
nudge to turn it. That's whilst lifting, but not fully lifting into the right, but a little nudge just to tweak. That you're right though, Serge. You're completely right. That's where most of the time is, in those two corners. If you do that, you're going to be quite close to my time.
What I like about this is that first of all it will get me to work on my two biggest weaknesses, which is the first corner is a long corner. I need to deal with these long trail braking applications. That
Definitely.
will be good.
Look. You're definitely doing a good job there now. Like this
Yeah,
is
it's
definitely
better.
better. You're not far away. If you can do that in conjunction with later braking, because you braked
I
a
need to
little
bring
early
it
that
later.
time. Yeah, but definitely not a bad job. You're doing basically the right thing. You can just finesse it.
Yes. It's all about that finessing here as I'm also steering.
Yeah.
Because I need to get that with the steering going on, and it's been like one of my weaknesses is those long corners where you need to use the brake to turn.
Yeah.
And the second one, that little chicane here is using the brake to put the weight on the nose just enough to turn. This is not really about slowing you down because you haven't had enough time to pick up the pace. This is really about angling that car
Yeah.
to really clip that apex and staying to the left, because it will help you with the second, like that second and the second phase, the second corner is super important, because that long straight,
One
it's not
thing
a
I've
long straight, but
noticed
just
that
straight.
I didn't mention to you, I've noticed it when you were driving. I've just seen it in the data. Is you were tending to clip the sausage curb here.
Yep.
I think you were turning a little bit too sharply. Because you're going slower, that sharp steering really makes the car respond. And when you look at the steering angle here, look at down the bottom, the pink and the green line both start turning in quite a lot more than the blue line. You see here where I'm like reducing. I'm just seeing when we get to the actual turning point. They're a little bit more there, and then there you've got lots of lock on. Just be aware, just be careful not to get onto the sausage curve, basically. Like, smooth steering. Fast enough to definitely make the apex, but just don't go over that. I think mainly if you go in faster, it won't react as sharply anyway. So it's kind of, because you're going slower, the front end does a bit too much turning too easily. So that'll hopefully fix itself a bit by going in quicker anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that like this. There's a lot of things that this track exposes on like a lot of weaknesses that I have.
I'm just going to the right part here. Make sure. That's that corner we're going slightly wide at. Okay. Oh, and no, I don't need to tell you this, but I'm going to write it anyway. Not quite as narrow as that on entry, because you were just a little bit further.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stop the recording just before I run out